Bring in Cate, and Kevin's a former advisor to Florida Governor Charlie Crist and a former spokesman for Barack Obama and a friend of mine. So, Kevin, there's got to be no schadenfreude in the world like the schadenfreude that Charlie Crist and Jeb Bush and other people who have been opponents of Marco Rubio feel, because he did sort of come into national prominence by primarying fellow Republicans, right?
And yeah, when I hear him talking about, well, I'm probably going to have to support the nominee, the Republican nominee, which means Trump.
Yeah.
It makes me think he's going to need those primary voters again, those folks that are being so angry and pretending to make America great again. He's going to need those people at another point, which is kind of sad, but an indictment on Marco Rubio's motivation, which is keep electing Marco Rubio.
And the interesting thing about it is, sort of from the national perspective, people who've been huge fans of his have not really paid attention to sort of the ways that he's risen, right? In a two-way competition with Charlie Crist, he probably would have lost.
Absolutely.
But he won. He sort of eked out a victory three ways and suddenly was declared sort of a conquering hero of conservatism. Has Marco Rubio always been less than he appeared potentially to the Beltway?
To folks who know him best, probably. So I live in Tallahassee. You know, I run in some of these circles. There are Jeb Bush folks there who are still not going to vote for, they're still going to vote for Jeb Bush just as a protest.
They're going to put his name on even though he's out of the race.
On election day.
Wow.
Absolutely. And in fact, I just shared with you off camera, I just got a tracking poll from some folks in Florida that say that Rubio could be in a fight for second against Ted Cruz.
That is really remarkable. When you look through at the polls, no matter whether it's the Florida Times-Union poll, there's a Suffolk University poll, a Fox News poll, we can just sort of roll through those on screen if we can. There's a very consistent pattern, which is that Donald Trump is somewhere near 40, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz are both somewhere in the 20s, and they are just locked in that pattern. Could Ted Cruz actually defeat Marco Rubio in his home state?
It's possible because Marco Rubio went to the gutter with Trump.
Yeah.
There's no more gutter to get. There is 40% or 30-some% of the Republicans in this state, unfortunately, that Rick Scott used when he primaried a Republican, which Donald Trump is using, which he primaried a Republican. Everybody can make an insinuation as to what I'm saying there, but it's an unfortunate truth. There are 1/3 of the Republican Party in this state want that anger and want that hate towards certain people.
Yeah. In the end, if Marco Rubio does not pull out a victory here in Florida, and it really will hurt his political career if he doesn't, will the obituaries written on the phenom that was the Marco Rubio political entity, will the first paragraph be about immigration reform and his participation in it?
Absolutely, and the abandonment of everyone that got him to where he was going. He used the Tea Party to get to where he was going and then immediately abandoned them. I was at the airport today flying with someone from Miami who said the same thing. As soon as he got elected, he just gave the same speech over and over and over to people not in Florida.
One could say the same about Jeb Bush.
They could, absolutely, except they were low-energy speeches.
They were low-energy speeches, but Jeb Bush really made Marco Rubio who he was, and he really embraced him almost as a family member. I've spoken with Cuban-American, like, friends of Jeb, FOJs, who say that, you know, Marco was like family to Jeb.
That's true. He gave him the sword on the House floor when he was the speaker.
A ceremonial sword.
Right, to pass the torch, and then Marco Rubio used a torch to light that on fire for his own ambition.
So we're going to take a listen to Marco Rubio real quick, Kevin. And this is the strategy that's now emerging between Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, which is interesting, saying vote for the other guy, help the other guy out in his home state. Let's take a listen to Marco Rubio.
I can tell you that in Florida, I'm the only one that can beat Donald Trump. And whether someone supports Ted Cruz or John Kasich, if you vote for them in Florida, you're in essence voting for Donald Trump. And if a voter reaches the same conclusion in Ohio, then I think that's what they're going to do as well.
Is that a call for a contested convention?
That sounds like a concession to me, that he knows he's going to lose, and this is his last-ditch effort. Instead of telling voters what he's going to do on day one as president, which, you know, there's a lot of issues here in Florida that we need to take care of, and nationwide, he's just now playing the game, and nobody plays the game better than Donald Trump. He is an earned media king. Play him on a loop, nonstop, and Marco Rubio is now just playing the game instead of telling voters what he's going to do.
Why not play the game and get out and support Ted Cruz? If Ted Cruz or John Kasich
because he's not as classy as Jeb Bush. That's why.
Yeah, and in the end, can you foresee Jeb Bush endorsing any of the three between Cruz, Kasich, and Rubio?
I think he could. I mean, Jeb has a big influence, and you saw a Bush join Ted Cruz's team on the finance side of it, and I think that you'll see eventually a Ted Cruz alternative to Trump come out of Florida.
And how devastating would it be for Marco Rubio's political career here in Florida if Jeb Bush endorses somebody and it's not Marco Rubio?
Listen, we have 9 lives in Florida. I work with Charlie Crist.
Charlie Crist keeps coming back.
I don't think Rubio's done. I think he loves this.
Could he run for governor?
He could. He told WPTV he wasn't, but you never know.
You never know. Could he go back and try to get in? Can he still try to run for Senate seat? Is that still possible?
He could, but I don't see that happening. He's made a lot of enemies this cycle.
Kevin, Cate, you're great. Thank you so much for all of your knowledge and help here, and just for hanging out with me here in Bayside. This is cool. We'll have to have you do it again.